We are going to talk about what? We are going to talk about something called as inheritance in today's session. Okay, it's ultimately a very important and a simple topic. If you're able to understand inheritance, probably the next 15-20 days here, I would be done with oops. Okay, and it would be very easy for you all. Okay, so today's topic is a prerequisite for all the forthcoming topics. Okay, so make sure try to understand in a beautiful manner. Okay, so great. What is inheritance, guys? What is inheritance basically? Whenever I talk about inheritance here, it means acquiring or accepting something, correct? In real time, we are examples of inheritance here, right? How? Sir, I am inheriting certain properties from my parents, correct? So inheritance means acquiring or accepting something. So we can relate it with respect to real time as well. Okay, we can relate it with respect to, the real time objects as well. Okay, so now what is inheritance in Java? Inheritance in Java is nothing but there are two classes. Imagine there are two classes. Okay, class A, class B. Okay, inheritance is nothing but one class is acquiring the properties of another class. Meaning, see here, I am acquiring certain properties from my parents. Correct. So this is related to with respect to Java with terms of classes here. Okay, in Java there are two classes. Okay, one class is acquiring the properties of another class. So that is called as inheritance. Okay, and there are two types of classes involved. What are those two types of classes involved? One class which is giving the properties is called as superclass, and one more class which is accepting the properties is called as subclass. Meaning B is inheriting or acquiring the properties from A. So B is the subclass and A is the superclass. Okay, got it. And then in order to achieve inheritance, okay, we make use of a keyword called as extends. Okay, extends is the keyword which is used to achieve inheritance here. Okay, and then whenever I want to refer inheritance, we also refer it as is a relationship. Okay, in an interview they will confuse you. Okay, they'll tell explain is a relationship. Is a relationship means inheritance, inheritance means is a relationship. Okay, don't get confused here. Okay, both means the same. Okay, and the last point with respect to inheritance here is, okay, whenever I talk about inheritance, it's not that all the properties are inherited. Only certain attributes are inherited, meaning variables and methods. Okay, variables and methods are inherited. Whereas there is a concept called as blocks and constructors, no? Okay, blocks and constructors, no? Blocks and constructors are not inherited. Got the clarity here? In Java here, only variables and methods can be inherited from one class into another class. But blocks and constructors can never ever be inherited, no matter what. Clear? So these are the few things which we are supposed to understand when it comes to inheritance topic here. Okay, it's a very simple part which you need to understand here. Got the clarity here? Okay, so this is all about the entire process here. Clear? Now here, whenever we talk about types, we have many types of inheritance here. Okay, we have what? Many types of inheritance. So what are those types here? Okay, let us try to understand in a beautiful manner here. Okay, what are the different types of inheritance? Okay, so the first type of inheritance is something called as single level inheritance. What is it? Single level inheritance. What is single level inheritance? Okay, I will tell you in a beautiful manner. Just a moment. Yeah, great. Okay, single level inheritance means, okay, I'll tell you here. Okay, okay, great. Perfect. Okay, so first of all, guys, imagine this is class A and this is class B. Okay, and there is a relationship between them here. Okay, so A, see here, how do you read it? Class B extends. Okay, class B extends class A. It means class B is acquiring the properties from class A. Meaning there are two types of classes involved. One who is acquiring the properties, another class who is sharing the properties. Okay, so a class which is sharing, giving the properties is generally referred as superclass or parent class, or we call it as base class. Got the clarity here? A class which is sharing the properties, giving the properties here is referred as superclass or parent class or base class. And a class which is acquiring the properties, right? We call them as subclass or child class, or we also call them as derived class. Okay, so one thing only, but we have different names to refer it here. Okay, so what is single level inheritance? Single level inheritance is nothing but a combination of one superclass and one subclass. Okay, single level meaning one superclass, one subclass is called as single level inheritance. Okay, and then, sir, what is the next part, sir? Next part is multi-level inheritance. Okay, what is it? The name itself tells multi-level inheritance. What is multi-level inheritance? We need to understand. Okay, the name itself tells there are multiple levels here. Okay, so now here let me draw this representation so that it becomes a beautiful way of understanding. Okay, so this is one way, this is another way. So this is class A, class B, class C. Okay, so this is multi-level inheritance. So what is multi-level inheritance, sir? Multi-level inheritance is a combination of multiple superclasses and multiple subclasses in a sequential manner. Meaning C is inheriting from B, B is inheriting from A. Meaning son is inheriting from his father and his father is inheriting from his father. Meaning grandfather, father and son. Got it? Are you able to understand the hierarchy here? Okay, grandfather, father, son. Okay, so that way, multi-level meaning it's a combination of multiple superclasses and subclasses in a sequential manner here. Okay, so this is what we are supposed to understand when it comes to multi-level inheritance here. If you could closely observe, okay, class B is behaving as both superclass and subclass. See, class B is a subclass of class A. True or false? True. I repeat, class B is a subclass of class A. True, right? Similarly, class B is the superclass of class C. Correct, no? So B will behave as subclass to A and superclass to C here. Multi-level meaning it's just a combination of multiple superclasses and subclasses in a sequential order. Got it? Then similarly, we have, two more. Okay, we have a few more here. Okay, what are those? I will tell you. Okay, before that, this is the third part and this is the fourth part. Okay, so now I'll draw the representation first and then I'll ask what type of inheritance it is. Okay, so this is one. Okay, these are the two representation which I have here. Okay, out of which one is hierarchical and other one is multiple inheritance. Okay, I'll tell you here. Okay, so this is nothing but one here and this is nothing but one here. Okay, if you could closely observe, see here, one class having multiple superclasses. Okay, one superclass having multiple subclasses. Okay, what type of inheritance is this? You need to understand. And one subclass is having multiple superclasses. And you need to again understand what type of inheritance is this. One superclass having multiple subclasses is called as hierarchical inheritance. What type of inheritance is this? This is called as hierarchical inheritance here. Whereas one subclass having multiple superclasses, we refer them as multiple inheritance. What do we refer them as? We refer them as multiple inheritance. Got it? So this is what we are supposed to understand with respect to Java here. In Java, only three types of inheritance are supported explicitly. Single level inheritance is supported, multi-level inheritance is supported, as well as hierarchical inheritance is also supported. But multiple inheritance is not supported. And what is the reason it does not support? We will understand later. Got the clarity here? Okay. Multiple inheritance is not supported in Java. And what is the reason? We will talk about it later. And similarly, we have one more last part. Okay. That is nothing but the hybrid inheritance. What is the last part here? The last part is hybrid inheritance. What is hybrid inheritance? Okay, it's a combination of, okay, two or more types of inheritance. Okay, it's a combination of what? Two or more types of inheritance here. Okay, so this is hybrid. If you could closely observe, imagine this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. Okay, look at the first half here. First half is a combination of hierarchical. How? One superclass having multiple subclasses. Similarly, the second half, one subclass having multiple superclasses. This is multiple. Hybrid inheritance means it's a combination of two or more types of inheritance here. So this is also not possible here. Why? So in this hierarchy, multiple inheritance is used, but multiple inheritance is not supported in Java here. Okay, why? We will understand later. But multiple inheritance is not supported. Hybrid inheritance, if it makes use of multiple inheritance, then it is not possible. But hybrid inheritance is not supported completely, but up to some extent. Okay, for example, look at this hierarchy here. This might be easily possible. See, I'll have this hierarchy. Okay, so this will be easily possible. If you could closely observe, this is A, B, C, D. What type of inheritance is this? Again, this is hybrid inheritance. Why? See, if you could closely observe, A and B are in single level. Okay, A and B are in single level. A, B, C are in hierarchical. Okay, A, C, D are in multi-level inheritance. So this hybrid inheritance is supported, but this hybrid inheritance is not supported. Why? In this specific hybrid inheritance, it is making use of hierarchical and multiple. Since multiple is not supported, this way is not possible. Got it. But this hybrid inheritance is possible. Why? Because it's making use of single level or multi-level or hierarchical. But in simple terms here, Java will support only three types of inheritance explicitly. That is single level, multi-level, and hierarchical. Whereas multiple inheritance is not supported, and hybrid also up to some extent only, not completely. Okay. So these are the few things which we are supposed to understand when it comes to the Java here. Got it. So these are the different points I've written, guys. Okay, we are supposed to understand what is inheritance, and I have told you in a beautiful manner. Got it. So this is what we are supposed to understand when it comes to Java, guys. Okay, it's a very simple topic. Okay, but very important topic. So this is what we are. I have written it over here. Okay, if you could closely observe, look at the first point. What I have told here. The first point here is inheritance is a process of one class acquiring the properties of another class. Correct? No, one class is acquiring the properties of another class. That is called as inheritance. There are two types of classes involved. One who gives the properties, another one who accepts the properties. A class which will share the property is called as superclass or parent class or base class, and a class which will acquire the property, we call them as subclass or derived class or child class here. Okay, and in order to achieve inheritance here, which keyword do we make use of? Okay, we make use of which keyword here? Extends keyword. Okay, extends keyword, okay, is used to achieve inheritance here. Okay, and inheritance can also be referred as what? Is a relationship. Okay, inheritance means is a relationship. And in Java, is all the properties inherited here? No. Okay, no. What is it? Okay, in Java here, only variables and methods are inherited, whereas blocks and constructors are not inherited. And what are the different types of inheritance here? Single level, multi-level, hierarchical. Only these three types of inheritances are supported explicitly in Java. Multiple is not supported, and hybrid up to some extent, not completely. Okay, so these are the few things which we are supposed to understand with respect to Java. So we are done with the theoretical part. Now we need to talk about programming. Okay, how do we do it practically? Okay.